Hello, fellow beings of light, and welcome to episode 20 of our podcast. It's been a minute, and no, my impromptu break wasn't about offering development or even about consciously taking time to be human, like it was at the end of last month. Although I was very much being human during these last 2 weeks. What do I mean by that? For starters, some background. Collectively, there are some major shifts going on when it comes to massive truths beginning to remove distortions and individuals beginning to step into and embody their remembrance of who and what they are, beginning reclamation of their purpose and abilities, their timelines, and more. My personal missions of facilitating the shift from the current distorted earth and human-based pyramid blueprints to the upgraded diamond blueprints, always intended for both, and also the shift into, let's call it the law of sovereignty, since it is the counterpart to the law of one, of unity. Ushering it in through my monad, Archangel Sophiel, so that balance can be restored between the two and bring about the return to true oneness. Those missions are only pieces of a far larger puzzle that is beginning to unfold and take shape. That is not all that is going on, though. As these shifts begin to unfold and take shape, we as individuals, as humans, are experiencing stronger and more frequent upgrades and moments of expansion. We are shifting individually right along with the collective shifts, as we should be. For me, the biggest form of expansion and upgrade has surprisingly not been the context and volume of the knowledge that has been coming through and opening up for me, but rather the method with which it has. Once upon a time, I struggled with entering and receiving Akashic records. Now, over the course of this year, I have reached a point where I don't even need to enter any specific Akash. I can just call forth a record for myself or anyone else from any individual or galactic library or vault. And there it is, right at my fingertips. Not a bad ability to have, by the way. It comes in handy for soul readings, realignments, and the reclamation and reconvergence process of integrations that I offer. And once upon a time, I also had the typical experience of interacting with my team of guides, as well as my higher self. One-on-one or collective interactions that felt not only intimate and like interconnected relationships, but also extremely loving, supportive, guiding, and protective. Over the course of this year, however, my frequency and consciousness have risen substantially. And with that has come upgrades to how I receive messages and guidance for myself and to share with all of you. Everything has begun coming through telepathically without me needing to ask in writing or out loud for something, or without me having to invite it in or even tune into it anymore. I'll just be working on something or having a conversation with someone, and I'll start channeling something through without always being aware that I'm doing it. Also, not a bad ability to have, but it's had some fundamental flaws, at least for me anyway. It is this second form of expansion and upgrade that I have been struggling with the most lately, that has had me falling back into some of my old and very human habits over the last 2 weeks, had me seeking out that intimacy and interconnectedness, that love, support, guidance, and protection that has been lacking in my interactions with my team, as well as my higher self externally, instead of simply asking for it, seeking it out from them and from within, which at this point in my journey, I should know better, right? My first instinct should be to ask for it and seek it out. Anything that is lacking from them and from within. But honestly, I struggle with asking for things in general. It's something I'm working on. And also, over the last week, I have begun to recognize that there is something else going on as well. Subtle interference from some above who don't agree with my purpose, my role, my missions as the 13th pillar, as the embodiment of sovereignty, and wish to continue hindering them, who don't want the intended diamond blueprints to be seeded into the earth's grids and with all of us, who don't want sovereignty to rise up, who don't want earth and the human race to rise up and claim our rightful place galactically and our purpose of being the restorers of true oneness. I'm not going to get into all of that here. I address it and more truths in other episodes, both in the past and moving forward. Instead, I'm bringing it up because this subtle interference, it has been leaking through my expansion and upgrades, leaking through telepathically without me inviting it in or being consciously aware of it until now. Until I realized not only how far off course I was getting, the small steps backwards I was taking despite the massive steps I know I've been taking forwards. But how I was beginning to become aware of subtle nudges within my field and consciousness to continue in that direction, to continue backwards. And that subtle interference has been able to do so in large part because when we are experiencing these massive collective shifts and massive personal shifts in terms of expansion and upgrades, we are open to receiving all that is coming through for us. We are trusting that all that is coming through is for our highest good and as the universe intends. We are at our most vulnerable to subtle interference that can seek to not only lead us off course, but to lead us back into not only distortions that we have overcome, but into new distortions. Vulnerable to subtle interference that can leak through the openings created by our shifts, by our expansions and upgrades. These subtle interferences can come in many forms. Intentionally, from those above seeking to hinder our shifts, our stepping into and embodying our purpose as individuals and the human race as a whole, as I've been experiencing personally, intentionally from those around us who are seeing our shifts, seeing us changing, and want us to stay the same, to stay anchored in their or your former shared density and frequency. Most commonly, unintentionally. Us picking up, absorbing, collecting denser energies and lower frequencies from others and our environment as we go about our day. And these subtle interferences can leak into, latch onto our own energy and frequency, burrowing in to find areas of ourselves, old habits, emotional responses, thought processes that we have worked through already, are working on, or have yet to begin working on, and amplify them, trigger them, and more. What can we do to prevent this? Awareness. We work to become more aware of what is flowing or lurking in and around our fields and consciousness. We set aside moments to check in with ourselves and both, more so when we are experiencing shifts, expansion, and upgrades. And when we sense ourselves falling into old or still existing habits, emotional responses, and thought processes, we pause and start asking ourselves questions. Why is this coming up for me? Where is this coming from? Does it belong to me? Is this in alignment with where I am at in my journey? Is this no longer serving me? Realignment. We cleanse ourselves of the subtle interferences, acknowledging that they have no place within our field or consciousness. And we do that with love and without judgment. And then we release them back to where they come from or to source. Reclamation. We reclaim our path. We get back on it. We call back in the progress we have stepped backwards in and any power that we have given away. In my case, that includes reclaiming my power to ask for the intimacy and interconnectedness with my team of guides and my higher self that has been fading away as I've been experiencing upgrades to how I receive. Protection. We establish boundaries, or rather filters, in our field and consciousness that catch these subtle interferences before they even have a chance to leak in and impact our path. Teaching ourselves and both of those things to recognize when something doesn't belong to us, when something is not in alignment, when something no longer serves us, and have it instantly removed from our field and consciousness, reflected back to where it came from. The other day, I shared a short message and some written light codes when it comes to these things, particularly reclamation and protection. One's initially intended for myself and what I've been struggling with, then shared as I felt the call, the pull to recognize that these subtle interferences, they aren't just happening to me. They are happening to us all. Since then, I have been feeling called to not only expand on that message through this episode, but to provide a light language activation with a little help from an old friend on my team, my spirit guide of cleansing and truth, known to me as Hades, sometimes even Osiris, but who I now recognize as Archangel Metatron. I am still wrapping my head around how the 4 spirit guides that have surrounded me my whole life have been disclosed as archangels. I've forgiven them for that initial deception by omission as I began my journey, but I'm still very much in the process of exploring how that shifts our individual dynamics with each other. Perhaps him coming forward now for this activation, when those 4 have generally been part of my own journey and have rarely stepped forward for what I share with all of you, is a step in that direction, into that shift. Together, we bring you light codes of raised awareness, of cleansing realignment, of reclaiming power, and of protecting your field, your consciousness, from subtle interferences that seek to leak through in the vulnerable moments of your shifts, of your expansions and upgrades. If you are open to receiving this activation, these light codes, simply say yes, out loud or within your mind. Then go ahead and settle in. Close your eyes and begin breathing slowly and deeply. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Let go of all thoughts and emotions flowing through your energetic, physical, mental, and emotional bodies. And just be. Allow yourself to just be. Right here in this moment with Archangel Metatron and I, as we offer you these codes. Agari warriare, arare usara, agare sharagara, agare usara gaskakatea, agare arishu, ariwushu, agareia, agarei, sharare, agarei, ari, aragur, saragria, agaragur, sharare, agarei, shararabo, shara, aragiri, shara, agarei, sharaga, sharakate. Agare sharaga sharaborska. Agare sharagare agare gareya. Agare agare sharaga. Agare shara 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 ror sharare. Agare agare. Agare sharagas karakate. Agare sharaka sharagas karakate. Agare sharagas karaka karakate. Agare shara aragu sharakade. Agari sharaka skarakawosh karakatea. Aragisha. Agari sharare. Agarawo sarakare. Agari sharawurare. Agari sharakadi sharakati skarakatea. Agari sururare. Agari shuladi. Aradi arawursharakate. Agari agadeya. Agari sharakas koya. Agari sharakari sharakati shara. Agari sharakati sharakara. Aru sarabagas sakati. Arai sharaka shush karakata. Agari sharakare shara. Aru sharakari sharakateya. Agade sharade. Arai sharakadi. Ari sus karakate. Agade sharakade sarakoya. Akoya. Okoya. Agadi urshakateya. Ari sharakasho koshkati. Agadi sharakosh sharakash katkarkosh kati. Aragade sharakade shkarkosha. Aragwush sharakadi. Agade sharakari sharakosh katkateska. Aragade shara. Aragwush sharakade. Akadis karkosh katkate. Akadish ush sharakadi sharaka. Are sharakwosh katkate. Are sharare. Are wush sharaka. Are shushaka. Akade sharadeya. Akade wushaka shkataka. Are shiri sharakush katakate. Are sharabush sharaka. Agare arushakataka. Agadi sharakri sharaka. Agadi sharaka ursharakata. Ari sharakre skarkush katkata. Agadi sharakurshatkata skarkateya. Agadia kurusharakate. Arakadia. Agadia. Akarusharakate. Ari sharakushakate. Agadisha. Agadeshirish. Arakuya. 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 Arkadei sharakate. Arakadi sharakate. Akadei shara. Arade shara. Aragewo sharakadia. Arakade skarakawosh. Akade. Arade. Araduya. Arade. 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 Usharakade. Repeat after me. I bring my awareness to my energetic field and consciousness. I cleanse it of that which does not belong to me. I cleanse it of that which is not in alignment. I cleanse it of that which no longer serves me. I reclaim my power, any that I have given away or stepped backwards from. I reclaim my path. I ask for protection from the subtle interferences that seek to enter my energetic field and consciousness while I am vulnerable. And so it was, so it is, so it will be. We are complete. Take a moment. I'm going to be silent while the music continues. Allow you to let everything received today and everything that has been or will come to be activated within you to settle in. Thank you for joining us for today's episode and activation. If what I have shared, what you have received today resonates with you, ignites a spark of remembrance and reclamation, initiates a shift within you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram, both at Blueprint Reclamation Project. I also invite you to visit our website, which is linked in the description, to witness our community beyond this channel, our sacred container, our offerings, our gatherings, and our Third Breath collective membership, which helps support our purpose and mission, as well as yours. There you will also find additional support when it comes to what we have discussed today through our awareness upgrade course and through our energetic sovereignty gathering, which will be held Sunday, June 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific. I will provide links to both of those things in the description as well. Take a deep breath, guys. You did awesome. I will see you guys hopefully next week with the next part of my 6 degrees of soul separation journey, which will actually be kind of wrapping up my personal part of it, even though there's still a few parts left in that series, because I'm being called to shift the remaining parts that will follow into knowledge, into delving into who and what our galactic monads are, into what the separation was, and into the things I got into in the last episode as far as ascension not being a ladder, not being something we have to climb, into how reclamation of our monad and our connection and relationship with them, and reconvergence into an oversoul with them, differs from the perceptions that so many have right now, or rather misperceptions. We will begin getting into all of that, and I'm excited for that, because it's been a lot holding on to all of that myself and not being called to share it yet, because it wasn't quite complete in terms of what I've received. But it's there, or very close to it. So join me next week to get a little bit of a preview of that, as well as a final update on my personal journey. Agadish